1 minute late from the 30-minute. Oh, Mother's gonna be on time today. Tragically, we had to be at 7:30 today. And I sound like death, but I don't feel like death. But I'm gonna get I'm gonna get into it very quickly today. Let me go ahead and go live on the Tickety Talk. Hair down for the streamers. We are here to talk about Britney Spears. This video is unavailable. What do you mean? Is it working? Okay. Is it working? Someone said this video is unavailable. Very interesting. Sorry I sound so bad. Michael's Parking Lot, thanks for subscribing for 6 months. Okay, so, ooh, God. Had a bit of a long day. I taught all day, and then we did parent-teacher conferences till 6, so that's why we were at 7:30 today, because I wanted to get home, take a shower, and eat some dinner, because I didn't want to come on here, like, cranky and, like, fresh off of parent-teacher conferences. I just needed, like, a little reset, you know what I mean? I am sick, so that is awesome and so good and incredible, and I love that for me. What a perfect time to be sick. Could not have planned it better myself, truly. Also, this is one of my Britney Spears mugs. I did not do this intentionally. I actually hate to use this mug because it's her in a bad moment, and I think that that's disrespectful. These were purchased when we did not know what we know now. But it was the only clean mug I had, and as you can hear, I am ill, so we're just gonna turn that around. When I was a kid, I was pronounced her name Britney Beers, and my mom said I would cry in the car until she played her CD. A dispensary parking lot on a 14-month streak. We could have had a baby by now. That's incredible. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. We have a lot to talk about. Britney has been through a lot. And I also wanted to say this is much more about her career than her conservatorship. There's a lot of legal people that go into all the details of the conservatorship. We are going to talk about it in depth, but not the most depth that anyone has talked about it. We're going to more talk about her career than the bad things that happened to her. And I also, so people have been requesting this for a long time. And for a long time I said no, I'm not going to do Britney Spears because she hadn't written her memoir yet. And I had seen multiple occasions of her saying, I don't want people to talk about me. I want people to stay out of my business, this, that, and the third. So I was like, period, queen, we will stay out of your business. Because I especially don't like to stream about someone's experience unless I can hear from them in their experience. You know what I'm saying? I like to hear their perspective about the situation. So once she wrote her memoir and started talking about it more, that's why I felt like we could do the stream because we're hearing from her, not the recounting of other people, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I spend all day beefing with CVS. The fun fact, the letters in Britney Spears can be rearranged to Presbyterian. We are also going to be watching a lot of her YouTube videos. So for the people on YouTube, that's going to get copyrighted. Or we're going to watch a lot of her music videos. So the people that are watching from YouTube, sorry, you won't get to experience that. But let's go ahead and get into it. I just ate soup and I feel very full from it, which is odd because it's literally soup. So, for anyone living under a rock, Britney Spears is an American singer, often referred to as the Princess of Pop, and she's credited with the revival of the teen pop during the late 90s and early 2000s. She sold over 150 million records worldwide, including 70 million in the United States, making her one of the world's best-selling music artists. So, this is your girl, Miss Britney. Early life, she was born in Mississippi. She is the second child of James and Lynn. James was referred to as Jamie. Britney Spears was born in 81. Her siblings are Brian Spears and Jamie Lynn Spears. In her memoir, The Woman in Me, she wrote that her paternal grandmother was sent to an asylum by her paternal grandfather because their 3-day-old baby had died, and Emma Jean was, being the grandmother, was overwhelmed by grief, and while she had been put in the asylum, she got put on lithium, and then she shot herself over her child's grave. Oh, and someone who asked, did I read the memoir? No, but I did what I call diet reading, where I listened to a podcast episode about the memoir. I listened to the Celebrity Memoir Book Club talk about the Britney Spears memoir, so I did not read it, but they talked about a lot of the important parts. I want to read it, like when we're on a school break. I just don't have time to read not on break. Anyone else have the Toxic music video on video now? We're going to watch it together. Basically the only kind of reading I do. So she was baptized as a child in a Southern Baptist church, and that's where she started singing in the choir. At age 3, she began to attend dance lessons in her homeward town of Louisiana. So I guess her family moved from Mississippi to Louisiana. And she was selected to perform as a solo artist in the annual recital, and she made her local stage debut singing What Child Is This at kindergarten graduation. She also did gymnastics, and she said of her ambition as a child, I was in my own world. I found out what I'm supposed to be from an early age. And then when she was 8, her and her mom traveled to Atlanta to audition for the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, or the Mickey Mouse Club, not Clubhouse, I guess. And casting director rejected her because she was too young, but introduced her to a talent agent. And the talent agent was so impressed with Britney Spears, she enrolled her in the Professional Performing Arts School. And afterward, Lynn and her daughters moved into a sublet in New York. So from the jump, she was the it girl. She was the it girl. As someone who doesn't get out of work until 7:30, this is very slay to have on my way home. I'm happy for you. So here's some pics of Miss Britney Spears with her familia as a child. Jamie Lynn said she's been very motherly to me. Interesting. 8? Like, I don't even know if I knew how to ride a bike. Yes, it's a real club. I tried to start at elementary school. Wait, I think I missed your first message. Chairman of the Britney Spears Defense Brigade, just present in the chat. You tried to start that at your elementary school in 2012. You're such a kind soul. And then here's a Britney and Jamie Lynn vibing and living. So, this is a video of Britney Spears as a young child singing.
From Kentwood, Louisiana, Star Search welcomes 10-year-old Britney Spears.
This is Star Search when she was 10.
They say I'm crazy, got no sense, but I don't care.
How do you feel about children working in the industry so young? I'm very against it. I have a stream about that, actually.
You see, I'm sort of independent. I am my own superintendent, and my star is on the ascendant. That's why I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what they may think of me.
She is kind of eating, though. She's kind of giving Judy Garland. I see that. I can't help but think about how she could have done pretty well on Broadway. And for those of you on TikTok, you have to go to Twitch to see the things. She has such a deep voice, and they forced her to sing in a baby voice. Mature voice for such a young child. Yeah, for real. She's super talented, though, which I don't think anyone has ever doubted. So, yikes on bikes from literal day one. Britney recalled her father's alcohol-fueled outburst, erratic behavior, confessing that he would drink excessively, which caused her great fear, especially when he got behind the wheel. Dad drank until he couldn't think. He disappeared from home several days at a time, and when he was drunk, he got really mean. And the stress of not having any money was compounded by the chaos caused by Dad's extreme mood swings. I was especially afraid to get in the car with him because he used to talk to himself while driving. I couldn't even understand what he said. He seemed to be in his own world. She also suggests that her father's alcoholism may have been the result of abuse from his own father. So this whole family, it seems like generationally. Lot going on. She reflects on her confusion as a child about why her father was so unrelentingly harsh and why her efforts were never good enough. To me, the saddest thing is that I always just wanted a father who loved me just the way I was. Someone who would say, I love you, period. You can do anything. I would love you forever unconditionally. So that makes me want to throw up. That's incredibly sad. And she said that her and her mom would go out and drink daiquiris together when she was in 8th grade. She said, For fun, starting when I was in the 8th grade, my mom and I would take the 2-hour drive from Kentwood to Biloxi, Mississippi, and while we were there, we would drink daiquiris. We called our cocktails toddies. I love that I was able to drink with my mom every now and then. The way we drank was nothing how my father did it. When he drank, he grew more depressed and shut down. We became happier, more alive, and adventurous. And apparently, there was, in her book, she wrote about how she was driving and they got in a car accident and they had baby Jamie in the back seat. So she's literally in 8th grade, drunk driving with her mom. What? Like, I'm sorry, what? What are you talking about? What? Have you done a B&W Star stream like Judy Garland and Shirley Temple? I have not done that. So her career continues, obviously, because her parents are insane. So she was hired for her first professional role as the understudy for the lead role of Tina Denmark in the off-Broadway musical Ruthless. And then, like we just watched, she appeared in the Star Search and a number of commercials. And then in December 1992, she was cast in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, along with Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling, and Kerry Russell. After the show was canceled, she returned to Mississippi, where she enrolled in McCombs Parkland Academy. Although she made friends with most of her classmates, she compared the school to the opening scene in Clueless with all the cliques. I was so bored. I was the point guard on the basketball team. I had my boyfriend. I went to homecoming and Christmas formal, but I wanted more. So here is her on Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, or Mickey Mouse Club. Not Clubhouse, sorry. I keep saying that. I think it's in the game wrong, too. This is so grainy.
Are you guys ready for some music? So let's hear for Justin, Britney, and the gang singing "I'll Take You There."
So this is Justin and Britney. I feel like this is way blurrier than when I was watching it before. Maybe it'll get clearer. This kind of eats. It's fuck Justin Timberlake till I die. Oh, we will be talking about Justin Timberlake. Trust in that. I wanted to be her so bad. Meanwhile, I had the parents and family support she deserves. I think we all can feel that one. She literally does have the voice of a grown woman. Can we skip this part? I do not want to see this. Let's go back to Britney. There we go. As a videographer, the constant crooked angle is sending me. It's very 90s. She's why Disney Channel started with people wearing jeans under their skirts. She's so talented. She literally is eating so hard. Okay, so there's her eating hard as hell on the Mickey Mouse Club. Like, the Mickey Mouse Club, she was serving so much harder than the Mickey Mouse Club was prepared to handle. Like, so much harder.
Today we'd like for you to get to know one of them a little bit better. So we went with Britney back to her hometown in Louisiana. Check it out.
Is she from Louisiana or Mississippi? I'm getting really conflicting results here. In the game, I definitely put Mississippi, but now I'm really unsure.
Got it. Welcome to my hometown of Kentwood, Louisiana. It's a small town about an hour north of New Orleans. I feel the need for speed! all the kids in my neighborhood have go-karts.
I think she's
It's fun
from
to
Mississippi,
race
but like grew up in
them. You have to watch out for
Louisiana.
my mom's flower bed. Where I come from is country, and when I get back home, I start talking country again. Stuff like yonder and hey y'all, or what y'all doing, stuff like that. They call me Air Britney. I love playing basketball with my friends. I could play basketball all night, but in the mornings, I have to help out at Granny's Deli. This is my great-grandmother. Everybody calls her Granny, and you haven't tasted any seafood until you taste hers.
I love her little country accent.
People come from all around for her crawfish. I work the cash register and clean the tables and help the customers. These are going to be the best shrimp you've ever had. This is how you unpeel a crawfish. Take the tail off. The head's the best part. It's really good. Then
This poor girl shouldn't have had to be filmed while doing her normal life things. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse was going for it.
After the crawfish, I had a club sandwich, then I had a pizza, and then I had an ice cream sundae. I love ice cream.
She's eating good in Louisiana.
I probably started dancing when I was like 3 years old. Stop.
Okay, music.
She's so
When
cute.
you're dancing, you just can't do a step. You've got to get
Me, a
into it.
Tennessee girl, thinking she sounds completely normal. What I eat in a day before it was cool. One of my contacts
I
is like
really
fucking
love
with
living
me.
in Louisiana. The people here are so nice. They treat you like family and make you feel right at home.
What a little cutie. So here's her literally slaying, and then here's her in kind of her teenage years, a little bit past this. Literally so gorgina, so gorgeous. So in June 1997, when she was 16, she was in talks with manager Lou Pearlman to join a female pop group. And Lynn asked a family friend and entertainment lawyer, Larry Rudolph, for his opinion, and they submitted a tape of Spears singing over a Whitney Houston karaoke song along with some pictures, and Rudolph decided that he wanted to pitch her to record labels, and so she needed to get a professional demo made, and he sent Spears an unused song of Toni Braxton, and she rehearsed for a week and then recorded her vocals in the studio. She traveled to New York with the demo and met with executives from 4 labels, and then went back to Kentwood that same day. 3 of the labels rejected her, saying that audiences wanted pop bands like the Backstreet Boys and the Spice Girls, and there wasn't going to be another Madonna. Literally, shut up. 2 weeks later, executives from Jive Records returned calls to Rudolph, and senior vice president of A&R, Jeff Feinstern, said about Britney Spears' audition, "It's very rare to hear someone at that age who can deliver that emotional content and commercial appeal. For any artist, the motivation, the eye of the tiger is extremely important, and Britney had that." Spears sang Whitney Houston's "I Have Nothing" for executives and was subsequently signed to the label. They signed her to work with Aaron Foster White for a month. And he reportedly shaped her voice from lower and less poppy to a distinctively unmistakable Britney. Can we let her live? How about what does she want to do? How does she want to sound? Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. After hearing the recorded material, they presented President Clive Calder with and ordered a full album. Britney had originally envisioned Sheryl Crow type music, but younger, more adult contemporary, but she felt secure with her label's appointment of producer since it made more sense to go pop because I can dance to it, it's more me. And then she flew to a studio in Stockholm, Sweden, where half the album was recorded from March to April with these producers among others. Her natural voice really is so great though. I watched celebrity memoir book clubs up about Britney's memoir, and it's great. I didn't read the book, but I did listen to the podcast, Diet Reading. So after Spears returned to the U.S., she embarked on a shopping mall tour called L'Oreal Hair Zone Mall Tour. I need to look up a picture of this. I don't think I have one in here. Give me 1 second. I told myself I wasn't going to get distracted tonight, but here we are. This is incredible. Hold on, I'll show you. It's like actually so iconic. Please. The Hair Zone Mall Tour? Are you joking me? Are you joking me? That is iconic. Absolutely iconic. Her first concert tour followed, and her debut studio album, Baby One More Time, was released January 12, 1999. It debuted at #1 on the US Billboard 200 and was certified 2 times platinum, and became the best-selling album ever by a teenage artist. And it was released as a lead single for the video album. Originally, Jive Records wanted its music video to be animated, which, like, what? No, it's literally Britney Spears, and you want the music video to be animated? Absolutely not. And she suggested the concept of the Catholic schoolgirl look, so literally, like, she picked the outfits, she did everything, and the single sold 500,000 copies on the first day. We already kind of talked about some of these. And it also, this is the album that had You Drive Me Crazy. So, without further ado, let's watch Baby One More Time. So good. Also, her assistant seems like super slay. Felicia explained she was hired as Britney's assistant by her mother, Lynn Spears, when Britney was promoting her first single, Baby One More Time, in 1998 when Britney was 17. Felicia had just finished a job as a nanny in New York and revealed to Lynn that Lynn called her a chaperone to the pop star who signed her first record at 15 years old. Lynn could not be with Britney at the time because Britney's sister, Jamie Lynn, was only in the first grade. So Felicia explained that the assistant was a loose term for her role, as she wasn't a member of Britney's management team, nor was she chaperone to an adult. I don't know that I ever really had a definition on what I was supposed to do with Britney. This is literally every job I've ever had. She said, for a long time they called me her chaperone, and then at one point they wanted to call me her partner, and we didn't think that sounded quite right. I definitely was not her mother, and I wasn't her big sister, so we settled on assistant. And Felicia stayed as Britney's assistant until 2007, when Britney's father fired her. Interesting. Very interesting. And then this is her. Apparently she's super sweet and super nice, and Britney would ask about her all the time, and it would be like, what happened to her? What happened to her? I miss my assistant. Where did my assistant go? Did she quit? And they were like, yeah, she quit. She didn't like you anymore. Sorry. When in reality, they fired her. They fired her, and they treated her so bad, and they gaslit her, and she was like, y'all are fucking Britney over. Y'all are fucking Britney over. And they were like, no, we're not. You're fired. And they told this lady, Britney doesn't want to see you anymore, and they told Britney, Felicia doesn't want to see you anymore. So, terrible. Wendy Williams was right. No, she literally was. So I think this video is very hilarious because when she was first headlining, she got a lot of critics like talking shit about her outfits and saying that she was too revealing, and she caused some controversy with that.
She can wear what she decides to wear, but I think that she should just watch what she wears at times and sometimes for little children.
Most of her fans are of the younger generation.
I just thought that video of her mocking that kid was so funny. And she raised a lot of eyebrows when she posed in her underwear on the May 1999 cover of the Rolling Stone. But I think she looks literally great, and everyone should shut up. That's what I think. They literally said, bye, Felicia. Stop. So an extension of the tour titled You Drive Me Crazy Tour followed in March 2000, and she premiered songs from her upcoming second album in the show, like Oops, I Did It Again, which did super well, selling 1.3 million copies. And Rolling Stone said the great thing about Oops is under the cheese surface, Britney's demand for satisfaction is complex, fierce, downright, and scary, making her the true child of rock and roll tradition. Slay. And her second single, Lucky, peaked #1 in a bunch of places as well. Lucky is probably one of my favorite songs. So let's watch the music video to Oops, I Did It Again. I did a lot of music videos because I knew I sounded terrible tonight. Here until literally midnight, so we're going to move on, but just know it feels like a dagger in my heart to move on. But I want to watch the Lucky video as well. It literally just eats so hard. So the same year, she embarked on the Oops, I Did It Again tour, which grossed $40 million. She also released her first book, Britney's Heart to Heart, which was co-written with her mother. Interesting. And then September 2000, she performed at the 2000 VMAs. Halfway through the performance, she ripped off her black suit to reveal a sequin-colored, flesh-colored bodysuit, followed by a heavy dance routine. And this is when she started showing signs of becoming a more provocative performer. And amidst media speculation, Spears confirmed that she was dating Justin Timberlake. They both graduated from high school via distance learning from University of Nebraska High School, which sounds like a fake school, and she bought a home in Destin, Florida at this time. She is literally just such a Southern white woman. Like, once she started to make big money, she went and bought a house in Destin, Florida. That's exactly what I would do. Incredible. Incredible. So here is her 2000 MTV Music Video Awards performance. For those of you on TikTok, you have to come to Twitch if you want to see the videos and stuff. I had a Britney lunchbox in first grade. Oh my god, that is something that I would want that my parents would refuse to get me. Okay, the huge headsets, but also, why do no performers wear a lavalier now? Like, I want to see you dance, sing. I'm tired of the performers holding the mic. I feel like her outfit ripped a little too early. Wardrobe did her dirty. Look at her abs. She looks great. I wish I looked like that. Lavaliers are the bane of costume's existence. The switch for audios are brutal. Oh my god, hit clips. Need her to lead a Peloton class. I had a professor in college that had a shrine for her in her office. I need to get to work right now. I have things to do. There is something weird with the audio. This is the live vocal edit, so I guess this is like her actual vocals there. I think because of copyright, like the original one isn't on there. Incredible. Incredibly talented, but the audio is driving me a little crazy, so we're going to move on. But this is when she's dating Mr. Justin Timberlake. Here's some pics of them. They were definitely the it couple. They were like so the it couple, it's not even funny. This picture actually just reminded me that a friend of mine is having a costume party for their birthday, and I need to ask my boyfriend if he will go as this with me. Need to ask him that. Let me get right on that. Look how she looks at him. She's so kind. He does not deserve. Look how happy she was with Justin Timberlake, living her life. Look at them living. She's so out of his league. It's literally not even funny. So, trigger warning: abortion and men with no emotional intelligence. She revealed that while she dated Justin Timberlake, she became pregnant with his baby but had an abortion. She said, "It was a surprise. It was a surprise, but for me, it wasn't a tragedy. I love Justin so much. I always expected us to have a family together one day, and this would just be much earlier than I anticipated. But Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He said we weren't ready to have a baby in our lives and that we were way too young." Justin Timberlake did not respond for People Magazine's request for comment. And she wrote, "If it had been left up to me alone, I never would have done it, but Justin was so sure that he didn't want to be a father." She says that it was, to this day, one of the most agonizing things she has ever experienced in her entire life. Where was I? This is like put together weird. Anyway, So both of them were there on the appointed day where Spears took the little pills. She said, I went into the bathroom and stayed there for hours, lying on the floor, sobbing and screaming. She describes it as unbelievable. She said, I went to the ground on my knees holding the toilet. And for some reason, Justin Timberlake thought that singing would fix that. She said, Justin came into the bathroom and lay on the floor with me. At some point, he thought maybe music would help, so he got his guitar and he lay there with me strumming it. Still, they didn't take me to the hospital. The event left her messed up for a while, especially because I still did love Justin so much. It was so insane how much I loved him, and for me, it was unfortunate. So apparently, like, he didn't want this in the press at all. They did it, like, mad private at home, and she, like, seems like she was really going through it and probably definitely should have, like, had medical attention. And then for him to take out a guitar... Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Like, just immediately no. Like, it's going to be an absolute... That's weird. It's going to be an absolute no from me on that. So January 2001, Britney Spears hosted the annual American Music Awards and starred in Rock in Rio alongside NSYNC and performed as a special guest in the Super Bowl, headlined by Aerosmith and NSYNC. And then in 2001, she signed a $8 million promotional deal with Pepsi, released another book co-written with her author, and her third studio album, Britney, was released in 2001. Britney debuted at #1 as usual. And then here's some about her awards and stuff, and this is where Overprotected and Slave for You were on this album. So Overprotected. Continuing to eat, her career's fucking amazing. And this is also when she did the snake video. So let me like open this because I couldn't find it on YouTube, but I found it on Facebook of all fucking places. I can't go full screen because it'll mess up the thing. That snake does not like this, I don't think. The animal cruelty aside, this is fierce as fuck. Never forget my college graduation speaker opening with, "Hey all you cool cats and kitties, stop." Doc just pleaded guilty this month. Stop. That's insane. I hate snakes. I would be shitting my pants. The thing is, this performance does not need a tiger. I think maybe it did. I think according to the creative director, it did need a tiger. In the memoir, she said the snake hissed right in her ear and she was terrified the whole performance. Can you imagine just existing as a snake and being subjected to this nonsense? I want the snake to write a memoir. Let the snake speak. What does the snake have to say? And PETA was really mad at her for this, but PETA's always mad about something. So to support the album, she embarked on the Dream Within a Dream tour, which was critically praised for its technical innovations with a water screen on stage. It was the second highest grossing tour of any female artist, second highest grossing tour of 2002 by a female artist behind Cher's farewell tour, and this was highlighted in Forbes 2002, where she was ranked as the world's most powerful celebrity. She also landed her first starring role in Crossroads in 2002. Although the film was largely panned, critics praised her acting, and the film was a box office success. And then in 2002, she also opened a restaurant in New York. Did not know that. Sorry, I'm really thirsty today. We should talk about Cher in the future. But they closed the restaurant, citing management's failure to keep her fully apprised, whatever that means. And then in June 2002, she announced she would take a 6-month break from her career, but then she went back into the studio in November to record her new album, and her relationship with Justin Timberlake ended after 3 years. In her memoir, she said that Justin Timberlake broke up with her via text message. Disgusting. I am disgusted. She said, after seeing the messages, I sat in my trailer in between takes on her set of the Overprotected music video. She said, I had to go back out and dance. For as much as Justin hurt me, there was a huge foundation of love when he left me. I was devastated. When I say I was devastated, I mean I could barely speak for months. Whenever anyone asked me about him, all I could do was cry. I don't know if I was clinically in shock, but it felt that way. And she went back to her old house in Louisiana, and she said, I barely left the house. I was that messed up. I laid in my bed staring at the ceiling, and that is when she revealed Justin paid her a visit. She said, he brought me a long letter that he'd written and framed. Why would you frame your own letter? I thought you would really want to keep this. So I went ahead and framed it for you. Like, shut up. I still have it under my bed, and at the end it said, it makes me want to cry to think about, I can't breathe without you. Those are the last words in it. After reading his words, Britney recalled being in disbelief over their mutual heartbreak. It felt almost like I was suffocating, like I couldn't breathe after all that happened. The thing is, though, even after I saw him and read the letter, I didn't come out of the trance. He did all that. He came there to see me, and I still couldn't talk to him or to anybody. The narcissism. So, and that one moment stood out in time to her is when Justin dropped the video for Cry Me a River. Britney said the video features a woman who looks like me that cheats on him, and he wanders around sad in the rain. However, Britney said she was still grappling with the aftermath of their split in a comatose in Louisiana while he was happily running around Hollywood. So this just like made her look really bad, and people felt like she cheated on him even though she didn't, and he literally cheated on her and broke up. Or no, did he cheat on her? I don't know why I said that. He broke up with her over text message. She never cheated on him, and he broke up with her over text message. So that's just total fucking bullshit. Oh wait, why is every time right here? Okay. As a response to the Cry Me a River, Britney Spears wrote Every Time as like her breakup song, I guess. I want to talk about how badly the media treated her. So let's watch some of the clips of Diane Sawyer. Or was that Diane Sawyer? Yes,
And
Diane
probably
Sawyer being
always
terrible to
played
her.
it close to the line on how much skin she showed. Posed like this for Esquire magazine. Consider the line officially crossed.
What happened to your clothes?
Well, I have on clothes now.
I know. Well, what's this about? No kidding. What is it about?
What is it about?
Yeah.
It's about doing a
Barbara Walters was mean to her too.
Is it about shocking people?
about shocking. You know what?
Yeah,
I feel
you know,
comfortable
this
in
is-
my skin. I think it's an okay thing to express yourself. Have you seen?
No,
I hate
hasn't
to
it?
bring this up, but Kate Hudson, she's 22. She's in Sheets. Jennifer Lopez, she poses very provocatively sometimes. But Christina Aguilera, what's the big deal when I do it?
Like, come on. You know? I don't understand. I think everybody always thought you had a different relationship to young girls.
Everyone now, they look back and they're like, what happened to your sweet image that you used to be? And I'm like, then when I came out, you thought I was too provocative. It's like you could never win. No matter what you do, at the
You
end
can
of the
never
day,
win.
You can't please everybody. You know, I'm not here to please. Ugh.
Have you ever gone further than you wish you had?
Gone further?
Yeah.
No. I don't think so. No.
What a bitch.
No, those are a little much. Yeah, those are a little much. At the end of the shoot, I was like, all right, let's go ahead and do it, and then let's jet. And I didn't have approval over the thing. So that's one picture.
I didn't have approval over the things.
You read the stories about buying $100,000 of sportswear.
No, I'm not like that at all. No.
Is it an addiction?
Is it an addiction? No, I don't think I think it's an addiction. I think it does put me, like, it makes me happy. You know, I'll go and I'll buy a hat and I'll buy some shoes.
She's
and,
grown up and hot. Why not?
So
Exactly.
I like that feeling. So, but no, it's not an addiction. Everything's so, no.
And in a way, it's all part of her job because her influence on young American fashion is seismic. She buys one new piece of clothing, it can set the whole world talking.
This is me talking to the older teachers at school if they're being mean to my students.
That's really dreadful. At the time, though, I thought it was like the coolest outfit in the
I
world.
love how she made fun of her voice.
You know what? I really like that outfit. Oh, and I got to go out with Michael Jackson. That was cool. So happy birthday, my friend, the king of pop.
He's still an idol of yours?
Yeah, I definitely. I think that he's done. I mean, if you really think of a genius that he is, he's brilliant. And Billie Jean, all the old stuff that he used to do, I think he's great.
Doesn't he worry you, though? The baby over the balcony kind of Michael Jackson?
Well, I think maybe
Diane
growing
Sawyer
up,
needs to
like,
relax.
at such a young age, and it's probably affected him somewhat, and maybe it's kind of, but I think he's a great person at heart, and I just think maybe he needs.
Like, why is she
home.
making Britney Spears
Yeah,
answer to the
needs
crimes
some
of Michael
friends,
Jackson?
To be honest, or
Like, she just said that he was a great artist.
Untrue? Little kids?
Like, she's literally...
I want to think that's untrue. I choose to believe that's untrue. Yeah.
And what's the picture of you like the best?
The first time I went to the Grammys, it was my first time to go to a huge show, and I had a white dress on. I felt like Marilyn Monroe. It felt really special. So.
Wait a minute. Can you rewind that tape? Am I seeing what I think?
That's probably one of the moments that I like the best.
You can pop your knuckles? Britney Spears is popping her knuckles. How do you do that? I don't know. And maybe she has another kind of adolescent rebellion. London, insulting fans by showing up late to her movie premiere, no autographs, barely saying hello. In Mexico City, 4 months later, a finger for the paparazzi.
Good.
And then, 5 songs into her concert, the last night of her world tour, she walked off stage in front of 50,000 fans.
It's too dangerous a situation, okay?
It was raining, and she says it was dangerous.
We're gonna go out there and we're gonna do the first 2 songs or whatever. Like if it starts to clear up, but if it starts raining again and if it's bad, then I'll just stop in the middle of the show.
And indeed, a documentary shows she and her tour manager are agonizing over what to do backstage.
It's all irrelevant with it coming down right there. Nobody's going on.
It doesn't really seem like that's within her control.
And started yelling, fraud, fraud.
Like, not Diane Sawyer being mad at the weather.
She's starring as a kind of villain in the tabloid accounts of supposed jealous arguments and then a horrible breakup.
Diane will never see the pearly
Self-proclaimed
gates.
first love, Justin Timberlake. You've had a rough year. You've had a year that would test a lot of people.
How could Britney allow it to
Illness in the
rain? So
family.
irresponsible.
A breakup, this spasm of publicity about what happened from Mexico to London.
It was pretty rough. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Weird. Hello.
To be a woman is to perform.
Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strong Britney. Yeah, it was a weird. Ew. I'm embarrassed. Can we stop?
Who's that for?
Who's that for?
Cue the American Ferrera speech from Barbie.
Goodness,
Also, someone who read the memoir, feel free to chime in here, but I remember in Celebrity Memoir Book Club, they were talking about, I think it was this interview, where she said no one asked her in advance, and she didn't get to, like, approve the questions or anything, and she just, like, came out of her bedroom, and Diane Sawyer was there, and they were like, oh, you're gonna do this interview real quick. Like, that's not a professional way to conduct an interview.
I think I'll let the song just speak for itself.
Okay, you can bop me. I have to ask a couple of things about Justin.
Okay, of course.
He has gone on television and pretty much said you broke his heart. You did something that caused him so much pain. So much
I have to
suffering.
ask. You really don't. You
What
do
did
not
you do?
have to ask. At this point, she already had an iconic career. You could
I
have.
was upset. You
You could have been talking about.
I think we're both really young, and it was kind of waiting to happen.
Her saying "ooh" when she cries is so
I will
relatable.
always love him. He'll always have a special place in my heart.
J-names.
He is such a great person.
Jamie,
But you said
Justin.
I've only slept with one person in my whole life, 2 years into my relationship with Justin. And yet he's left the impression that you weren't faithful, that you betrayed the relationship.
I think everyone has a side to their story, and to make them feel a certain way, and make them feel,
Narrator, he was not a good person.
I'm not technically saying he's wrong, but I'm not technically saying he's right either. So, oh, this feels really awkward right now.
Timberlake has made a kind of sport out of public retaliation.
Hi, 97. The Star Buffalo Morning Show. Justin Timberlake is in the house. And I just want to ask you one question. Did you Britney Spears? Yes or no?
Oh, man.
Come on, man.
Okay, I did it. No,
It was a really weird time. There was like talk about what we did together and like really sexually and stuff, and I just felt very exploitive and very weird. I was like, why is he going on these shows and they're asking him and he's talking, you know, but I'm sure, like, you know, just like right now, you're asking me about it and I'm talking about it and just kind of...
Really, if I had an opportunity to shoot Britney Spears, I think I would.
Oh, that's horrible.
Well,
That's really bad.
because of the example for kids and how hard it is to be a parent and keep all of this away from your kids.
Well, that's really sad that she said that. Ew.
Who shows someone a clip of someone else saying they want to shoot them?
You know, babysit her kids.
Later, the governor's wife had to retract her statement because of a public
That was a
outcry
governor's
about-
wife.
I mean, I
Idiot.
can't help that. And if the parents don't like them to see it, then change the channel.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm not perfect. I make mistakes every day, honey. I know. But I want.
Why are they acting like she's the president of role modeling? Literally.
To think that you have to take the responsibility to be this role model.
It's one thing not to want to be the role model anymore. It's another thing not to know that a lot of young girls are looking at this. A lot of them.
She's so me. She's like,
But am I responsible for them? The only person I do worry about and is that I want to be a good person for, I think, is my responsibility, is my sister.
I'm gonna be cool for you, okay?
People like Faith Hill and Madonna, they give me hope. The fact that they have their families with them and they can balance the whole thing, and, you know, I think that's inspiring. So
You've said that your albums are like diaries of your life.
Britney's face is screaming,
So what's
fuck
the
off,
neat
Diane.
sentence? How would you start the diary entry for your life right now?
the diary entry for my life. Whoa, I'm here to inspire people through my music and take people on journeys.
The amount of times
and
she's got to be
stuff.
thinking that ain't got shit to do with me in this interview.
I'm just beginning, and all this change and everything's like kind of surreal and new.
But yeah, we hate Diane Sawyer around here. And then in August, she performed at the MTV Video Music Awards with Christina Aguilera to Like a Virgin, and they kissed, and everyone was freaking out about it, but whatever. Then she released her fourth album, In the Zone, in 2003. She had more creative control over this album. And In the Zone sold over 609,000 copies during the first week of availability, and it had 4 singles, Me Against the Music, Toxic, Every Time, and Outrageous. So we are going to be watching the incredible work. And she also talks about this in 2004 in her memoir. Well, she talks about in her memoir in 2004. That's where she got married in Vegas. She said, he and I got shit-faced. I don't even remember that night at all, but from what I pieced together, he and I lounged around in a hotel room and stayed up late watching movies, and then had the brilliant idea of going to a little white chapel at 3:30 in the morning. People asked me if I loved him. To be clear, he and I were not in love. I was just honestly very drunk, and probably in a more general sense at that time in my life, very bored. And she admitted that she did not take the marriage seriously from the start, but her family did, and they were pissed. She said they made a way too big of a deal out of innocent fun. Everybody has a different perspective on it, but I didn't take it seriously. I thought a goof around Vegas wedding was something people might do as a joke, and then my family came and acted like I started World War III. I cried the whole rest of the time I was in Las Vegas. She said, I realized something about me being under their control and not having a stronger connection to someone else, had become very, very important to them. So, red flag of her family, and they got that marriage annulled. So here's some pics of her in the wedding ceremony of Vegas. Apparently they were under the influence. So, in March 2004, she embarked on the Onyx Hotel Tour in support of In the Zone. The tour was canceled when she fell and injured her knee during the music video shoot for Outrageous. She underwent a surgery and wore a brace for 6 weeks, followed by 12 weeks of physical rehab. And then July 2004, she became engaged to Kevin Federline, who she had met 3 months earlier. This was the subject of intense media attention since Federline had recently broken up with Shar Jackson, who was still pregnant with their second child at the time. The stages of the relationship were chronicled in a reality show called Britney and Kevin Chaotic, which premiered in 2005. Spears later referred to the show as probably the worst thing I have done in my career. I had no idea that they had this show. I never saw this. I don't know how I missed that one. They held their wedding ceremony September 18th, 2004, but they were not legally married until a few weeks later due to some delays in finalizing the prenup. Get a prenup, people. Get a prenup. Because at the bare minimum, it protects you from like medical debt and legal debt if they're like a situation arises that's unforeseen. You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to watch part of the show because she said it was a mistake, so we're not going to watch it. Here's their wedding on the cover of People magazine. Before meeting Spears, Federline was a backup dancer for Justin Timberlake. They first crossed paths in 2004 at a club. He said, our eyes met, and it was just that. We hit it off right away. I learned real fast how much of a whirlwind the press and everything was. And like we said, they got married September 2004 and had their first child, Sean Preston, in September 2005. So here is a Britney pregnant. She is literally so cute pregnant. Look at her. Look at her. Then they welcomed their second child, Jaden James, in September 2006, a couple days before his older brother's birthday. So literally had two kids like back to back. And she talks about how she had like really bad postpartum and she was super hormonal. And it was just like a really, really intense time. I think having two babies like super close together like that is just like a lot for your body to go through, especially if you're dealing with other things like we know she was. So I was going to go into the details of their relationship, but honestly, I really don't care about this man. So TLDR, he was smoking a lot of weed and trying to make it as a rapper. So he was just in the studio ignoring her all the time while she had two babies and was suffering from postpartum depression. So he was literally in the studio. She tells stories in her memoir about how she'd try and come to the studio to like hang out and be like, hey, and he would be like, no, we're busy now, go away. Like, immediately no. My son isn't 2 until April, and I just started feeling myself again. I can't imagine the hormones. I had two babies back to back and PPD. It was an absolute nightmare. Yikes. Yikes on bikes. So he was being an unsuccessful rapper and ignoring her, and I'm sure she was paying for everything, and she was home suffering from postpartum depression. Great. Then February 2006, pictures surfaced of Spears driving with her son Sean on her lap instead of in a car seat. Child advocates were horrified by these, where she has like the baby in one hand, the wheel in the other, and Spears said that the situation was because of a frightening encounter with paparazzi and that it was a mistake on her part. I can completely see how this would happen. If you are being mobbed by hundreds of paparazzi, and we'll look at a video, she was literally getting followed by like 100, 200, 300 people. Like, if that many people are mobbing you, you're just going to try and get your baby in the car and get going as fast as you possibly can. Because if you have people mobbing you, you can't really do the whole car seat thing if you're by yourself. Have strange men thought about not approaching her and her baby? Exactly. Like, I'm not saying it's okay to have a baby in your lap on the driver's seat, but I am saying if you're really like overstimulated and you have paparazzi coming after you and you're just trying to get out of there, I see how you could do this and like not be thinking about it from that way in that moment. Like, I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm saying I completely see how it happens when you're being literally mobbed by people. So here is her getting mobbed by paparazzi in 2006. Literally, like, cannot breathe. There's so many people around her. They almost made her drop him. Sickening. Exactly.
Let's go, guys. Keep him in line, guys. Keep him back. Back up. Back up, guys. Back up, guys.
Being mobbed is scary, but with a baby, terrifying. No, literally. So that's just kind of the vibe of like, this was her life at that time. Time she went anywhere, she was literally getting mobbed by paparazzi. Then she released her 5th studio album, Blackout, in 2007. Blackout did super, super, super well. She performed Gimme More at the 2007 MTV Video Music Awards, and this was highly panned by critics. People really didn't like it because they felt like she looked not good, but I think she looked great. Let's find a picture. Britney 2007 MTV VMA. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but we'll watch part of it. Outfit, and we can describe how she clearly did not feel that comfortable. She just looks a little uncomfy there. It looks like she's kind of going through it. And one of Britney Spears' favorite albums came with one of her biggest regrets. She said that the video for Gimme More is the worst video she's ever made and said it was so tacky. She said it was a creative escape as she said that recording Blackout was a creative escape because she was getting hounded by paparazzi and struggling in her marriage, which affected how she approached things. She said rather than going through the process with her record label, she just decided to make them on her own. The album was kind of a battle cry. I quit doing business the way I always had before. I started doing videos on the street myself. I'd go into bars with a friend and a friend would bring a camera. That's how we shot Gimme More. So literally this is like her and her friends filming it. Yeah, magazines were even worse back then than they are now. So November 7th, 2006, she files for divorce. She said that she didn't want to file for divorce, but that people came to her saying that he was about to file. So then she had to file first because otherwise it would be worse for her. But then later she found out that they had manipulated her into filing first because then she had to pay for the legal fees because she filed first. So she got screwed literally from day one. She asked for sole custody of their sons, Sean and Jaden, allowing federal visitation, and attorney Laura Wasser was hired to represent Britney Spears. Federline retaliates, filing for sole custody of the boys, allowing Spears visitation. He also asked the court that Spears assume both of their legal costs since she initiated the proceedings, like I said. Then, March 29th, 2007, after shaving her head and making 2 quick visits to rehab, which we will talk about a little bit more, in a second. Oh, I put it right there. Look at me go. Spears and Federline reach a settlement on all issues of their marriage and child custody, which allows them equal custody of Sean and Jaden, or Sean Preston and Jaden James. So some lore on the shaving of the head. The gesture was meant to be a big fuck you to the world. At the time, her marriage had ended and she was going through that public divorce. She said, my long hair was a big part of what people liked. I knew that. I knew a lot of guys thought long hair was hot. Shaving my head was a way of saying to the world, fuck you. You want me to be pretty for you? Fuck you. You want me to be good for you? Fuck you. You want me to be your dream girl? Fuck you. I'd smile politely while TV show hosts leered at my breast, while American parents say I was destroying their children by wearing a crop top, and while executives patted my head condescendingly and second-guessed my career choices even though I'd sold millions of records, and my family acted like I was evil, and I was tired of it. I went into a hair salon and I took the clippers and I shaved off all my hair. Everyone thought it was hilarious. Like, look how crazy it is. Even my parents acted embarrassed by me. Nobody seemed to understand that I was simply out of my mind with grief. My children had been taken away from me. And she chose to shave her own head because she went to a stylist, and the stylist was like, yeah, I'm actually not going to be involved in that. Good luck. Then in July 26, 2007, Britney Spears violated the terms of custody by taking her boys out of state to Las Vegas, and then her bodyguard got into a fight with a photographer outside of the Wynn in Las Vegas and was charged with battery. And then in July 30th, 2007, that's when their divorce was made official. So she literally, is going through it right now. I knew she was right when they showed her smiling and leaving. She looks so happy and free. I know, I debated showing the head shaving and I decided not to because I didn't like it, but now I kind of want to show because she's super happy in that picture. I know what you're talking about. Let me find the exact picture we're talking about. There it is. Literally, look at her smiling ear to ear, shaving her head. She's thrilled. She's thrilled with her decision making at this point in time, which, mood. So legal drama continues while Federline's team set out to serve subpoenas to all the people close to Spears. More legal drama. And then after 1 week of random drug tests, a Los Angeles court commission grants Spears one monitored overnight visit each week with her sons, and then Spears goes to a Los Angeles police station to be fingerprinted, photographed, and booked on 2 minor traffic charges. She's going through it. It's bad times in Britney Spears, claiming that she failed to follow the court orders handed down the previous month. Federline's lawyers request that Britney's visitation rights be suspended, and their request is granted. So she gets her visitation taken away from her kids again, which happened in October. Fast forward to January 3rd. January 3rd is like when shit really hit the fan. So this was published on January 4th, 2008. She was placed on lockdown for a mental evaluation after she locked herself in a room with one of her children in her LA home and refused to hand over her child to Kevin Federline. So this source says that Britney's court-appointed child monitor called the police. She had already put Preston in the car, and when Britney locked herself in a room with Jaden, the cops came and got the door down and tied her down to a gurney. And then this is from a different article. This is what Britney wrote in her memoir about this. She said that her sons were visiting her with a security guard who worked for Federline, came to pick them up. She writes that she panicked, thinking she might never get to see her sons again, and locked herself in the room with her younger son Jaden and began to cry. And then she said a SWAT team burst through the door. She said, "The only thing I was guilty of was feeling desperate to keep my own children for a few more hours and get some assurance that I wasn't going to lose them for good. Once they had taken Jaden from me, they tied me down to a gurney and took me to the hospital." So she, they had already been repetitively taking her kids away from her, which is why she had this mental breakdown and locked herself in the bathroom with her younger son, which again, that's not okay to do, but it's just so obvious that she was led to this point, and this could have been prevented. You know what I mean? This was just so preventable. Then at an emergency hearing, the judge gives sole custody of Sean Preston and Jaden James to Federline. Then Britney is unexpectedly released from the hospital early after Dr. Phil pays her a visit. Y'all, if I am ever in the mental hospital, do not send Dr. Phil. It will make me worse. Then the police impound her car after finding it abandoned on the street. It seems like she's literally just in a whirlwind right now and is such a mess. I feel so bad for her. She literally just needs someone to help her and not exploit her. Then Federline's lawyers ask LAPD to release its report on what happened on the January 3rd incident. And then after multiple testimonies from LAPD officers, Spears' parenting coach, and bodyguard Lonnie Jones, a judge keeps in effect an order suspending Britney's right to visit her sons, keeping them in the custody of Federline. And then Britney showed up at the hearing but abruptly left before going inside. Then January 23rd, she shows up at a custody hearing but leaves before going inside. And then January 25th, her lawyer wins more time to work on her driving without a license case. Then January 31st, surrounded by a small army of police, she is rushed from her home to UCLA's medical center for a 72-hour emergency psychiatric hold. Then February 1st, James Spears, her father, is put in charge of her welfare during a surprise court appearance by him and her mother, Lynn. This poor woman is right. Literally so right. She needs a restraining order from Dr. Phil. I think we all do. Imagine you're going through the worst time of your life, and then randomly your parents pull up and they're like, "Hi, surprise, in court. We're going to surprise you in the courtroom." If your parents were real, they would have been here so fucking earlier and not surprised you at court. If this was my parents, I already know. The second they saw me shaving my head, they would have been like, "Let's go pay her a visit. Let's see what's going on there. You good? How is everything? Everything's all right? What's going on?" As Wendy Williams once said, death to all of them. That same year, Jamie Spears filed the conservatorship papers. Under the conservatorship, Britney had no control over her financial or personal decisions. All of that power went to her father, Jamie Spears, and the attorney hired by her father, Andrew Wallet. So, the following month, literally a month after she gets put under a conservatorship, where she is apparently so incapacitated that she cannot take care of herself. Usually conservatorships are for people that are like 87 and have dementia. So they're like caretaker, which like a child, somebody can sign on their behalf and manage their affairs and their finances. It is completely like oxymoronic to have someone working while they're under a conservatorship. Because the whole thing with a conservatorship is that you are so unwell that you cannot take care of yourself from a legal perspective. Like the whole idea with a conservatorship is you are so unwell that you cannot go to the bank and sign a paper. So someone else needs to be able to do that for you on your behalf. So it makes no sense that you'd be so unwell, but apparently well enough to work. Because the following month, she guest starred on How I Met Your Mother as a receptionist, and she received positive reviews for her performance, bringing the series to its highest rating ever. So that's really not adding up for me. It's not making sense. In July 2008, she regained some of her visitation rights. After an agreement with Federline and her counsel, she opened the MTV Music Video Awards with a pre-taped comedy sketch with Jonah Hill and an introduction speech. She also won Video of the Year for Piece of Me, and the 60-minute introspective documentary Britney for the Record, produced about her life. And then on October 28th, 2008, the conservatorship is extended again. So in July, you're well enough to work. But in October, you're so unwell that the conservatorship needs to get extended. The arrangement is extended yet again, except this time it's indefinitely, with the court officer saying it can last a lifetime. The conservatorship is necessary and appropriate for the complexity of the financial and business entities and her being susceptible to undue influence. What the fuck does that mean? And when the conservatorship details were explained to Britney, who was 26 at the time, she reportedly agreed not to oppose it. Like, disgusting. Literally disgusting. I feel like working during a conservatorship could be considered slavery. I think so too. So For the Record brought in a ton of viewers for MTV. Britney didn't make any money off of that she got to keep. Then in December 2008, Circus was released. So again, producing a whole ass record while you're under a conservatorship. Circus did super, super well. This is also when Womanizer came out. And that Womanizer was her first song to hit the top Billboard 100 since Baby One More Time. So she is being tortured, but is making great music. Also, I was going to show you like some of her stuff at this time, but I just felt weird watching music videos that someone made non-consensually. Like, she didn't have a say in doing any of this, so I was like, I'd rather watch the stuff that she had the creative say on, and for time's sake, so we're just going to talk about it. So in January 2009, her and her father obtained a restraining order against her former manager, Sam Lufty, and ex-boyfriend, Andin Gilhab, I don't think I'm saying that correctly, and attorney John Ederle, all of whom had been accused of conspiring to gain control of Britney Spears' affairs. Mr. Spears, are you projecting? And then she went on the Circus Starring Britney tour in March 2009. It grossed $131 million. And this is when she released her second greatest hits album. And the single 3, Love 3, became her third #1 single in the US. Then in May 2010, Spears representatives confirmed she was dating her agent, Jason Tarwick, and that they decided to end their professional relationship to focus on their personal relationship. She designed a limited release edition clothing line for Candies. She made a cameo appearance on TV and The Glee Show, the episode titled Britney, which drew in very, very high ratings as well. Crazy that this man was not really in her life, but he gets to control her estate and her. How did they force her to work, though? Could she not say no? We will talk about that. So, I'm mega shortening her work from like 2010 to 2019 because she was being forced to work against her will. But this is when she had Hold It Against Me, Criminal. This is when she did Scream and Shout. She launched The Residency, Britney Piece of Me, in at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino, which is in Vegas. My dad actually went to go see that. He said she was an incredible performer. This is when she also did Glory, Piece of Me sets box office records. This is when she also dropped a fragrance. Like, she was doing a lot of career stuff during this time. So, death to all of them. Let's talk about what happened during the conservatorship. Miss Spears said that her father was obsessed with her and wanted to control everything about her, and that she could not make friends without his approval. Even as she earned millions from her successful Las Vegas residency, she was limited to a $2,000 weekly allowance, which I know to us is a lot of money, but when you're making millions of dollars, you should get to keep it. Any mistakes resulted in very harsh consequences. The conservatorship comes with a lot of fear. So, So after consulting with Miss Spears and her conservators and the doctors, an investigator concluded in 2016 that the conservatorship remained in Britney's best interest based on her finances, like we said, and her intermittent drug issues. And so aside from his salary as a conservator, which was about $16,000 per month plus $2,000 per month to rent an office space, Mr. Spears was approved by the court to receive a percentage of various deals signed for his daughter. So he's literally just exploiting the shit out of her. My voice is like almost gone. I'm glad we're kind of almost done. So in 2011, he received a 2.95%, so 2.95, almost 3% commission for his work on her Femme Fatales tour. And then in 2014, he was granted 1.5% of gross revenue from her performances of her Las Vegas residency, which earned $138 million. So how much of that did he get? And even of what he's not paying to himself as a salary, he gets to control her income. So it's like basically all going to him. Yeah, so that's like $2 million. I don't think I did that math right. Whatever. Wendy Williams was ahead of her time. So, her dad's making all of the money. In one incident, Britney apparently spotted a pair of shoes at a Skechers shop, and asked to get them. And apparently her stylist was like, yeah, I'll get them, but was told by Spears' manager that she didn't have the money to be spending on Skechers. If you don't get this woman her fucking Skechers, she makes $138 million and you're going to tell her she can't afford Skechers? Skechers is like a kindergarten teacher shoe. I'm sure Britney Spears can afford it. And apparently Yates, who was like her stylist, I believe, ended up buying the shoes using the wardrobe budget and smuggled them to Spears. Good. I'm glad you did that shit. I'm glad you went back and bought those probably ugly-ass Skechers with the wardrobe budget. Dude, if I can afford Skechers, Miss Spears can absolutely afford Skechers. Another allegation is that Jamie Spears monitored Britney's private phone communications and placed an audio recording device in her bedroom. And she said that her father prevented her from having her IUD removed because they did not want her to have more children. So apparently she wanted to get pregnant and have another baby, and they were like, yeah, that's actually not going to be allowed. So to the person that said, why is she still performing? Couldn't she say no? Not really, because she literally, when you're under a conservatorship, you have no legal rights. You can't open a bank account, you can't vote, you can't, buy a house, you can't do anything. You don't have legal rights when you're under a conservatorship. And she also said that her father only allowed her to eat chicken and canned vegetables for 2 years. Canned vegetables? You won't even give Britney Spears real vegetables? She can't even have fresh vegetables. She has to have from a can. She said, no matter how much I dieted and exercised, my father was always telling me I was fat and put me under a very strict diet. I would go insane. And they also controlled her with the boys. If you don't do this, you won't get to see your children. Yes. So because her dad is the conservator, he arranges all the custody stuff and when she sees her children and all of that. Her children have really been weaponized against her. He actually needs to go to jail and be caged up. And despite being under the conservatorship, she had many successful performances. She was also an X Factor judge and performed a total of 248 shows during Piece of Me. So, January 2019, She announced an indefinite hiatus and the cancellation of her Las Vegas residency because Jamie suffered a near-fatal colon rupture. Good. Good. I'm glad. That's what happens when you're an alcoholic asshole. Your colon ruptures. Haha. So, Andrew Wallet resigned as her co-conservator of 11 years, and Spears entered a psychiatric facility amid stress from her father's illness. The following month, a fan podcast, Britney's Gram, released a voice message from a source who claimed to be a former member of the legal team, and they alleged that Jamie canceled the residency due to Spears' refusal to take her medication that had been holding her in the facility against her will since January 2019 after she violated a no driving rule, and her conservatorship was supposed to have ended in 2009. These allegations gave rise to the Free Britney movement, which received support from Cher, Paris Hilton, Miley Cyrus, the ACLU, lots of people. In April 22nd, 2019, fans protested outside of City Hall and demanded that Britney Spears be released, and Spears said that all was well 2 days later and left the facility that month. In May 2019, Judge Brenda Penny ordered a professional evaluation of the conservatorship, and then in September of 2019, Kevin Federline obtained a restraining order against Britney's father following an alleged physical altercation between Jamie and one of her sons. And Spears' long-term care manager, Jody Montgomery, replaced Jamie as her conservator that month, which also saw a hearing where there were no decisions about the arrangement were reached. And that is also when the interactive pop museum called The Zone opened in LA. They canceled that because of COVID, though. And then she also released Mood Ring as a single. And in August, Jamie Spears called the Free Britney movement a joke and its organizers conspiracy theorists. So this time seems like super confusing and wishy-washy. It's like, you're working, you're in the mental hospital. You're working, no, you're in the mental hospital. You have to have a conservator, you're working. Like, the conservator's changing. Like, it seems like a lot's going on and things are starting to fall apart and everything is just, like, very chaotic. So, fuck both of the Jamies. Going back in time a little bit, in 2018, Jamie Lynn, her sister, became a trustee for a portion of Britney's estate. And Jamie Lynn had been secretly named a trustee in 2018. And the trust was established in 2004 to protect Britney's financial assets for her children and apparently her family. And the 2018 filing made Jamie Lynn responsible for distributing funds from the trust to Britney's sons in the event of the singer's death. Why is everyone getting to control her money except for her? Like, it's, what right does your sister have to your money? That makes no sense. And then April 2019, Jamie Lynn appeared to criticize the Free Britney movement. So we hate Jamie Lynn around here as well. So going back to the kind of timeline, August 17th, 2020, Spears' court-appointed lawyer submitted a court filing documented Spears' desire to have her conservatorship altered to reflect her wishes as well as lifestyle, and to instate Montgomery as her permanent conservator to replace Jamie with a fiduciary as a conservator of her estate. So a fiduciary, the word fiduciary is important. Fiduciary means they legally have to give you good advice. Like, they have to be working in your best interest as a fiduciary. So, 4 days later, the judge extended the established arrangement until February 2021, and in November 2020, Penny approved the Bessemer Trust as a co-conservator of Spears' estate alongside Jamie. The following month, she released, like we said, Mood Ring, songs Swimming in Stars and Matches, and then that documentary came on. I feel like some of this just repeated. Clearly, we're a little bit of a mess this week, y'all. Sorry about that. Chris Crocker tried to warn us. Oh, we will be talking about it. So, June 22nd, 2021, before Spears was set to speak in court, the New York Times obtained confidential court documents stating that Spears had pushed for years to end her conservatorship, and Spears spoke to the court on June 23rd, calling the conservatorship abusive. She said she has lied by telling the whole world I'm okay and I'm happy. She was traumatized and angry. The court statement received widespread media coverage and generated over 1 million shares on Twitter, over 500,000 messages using the tag Free Britney, and more than 150,000 messages referencing the court appearance Britney Speaks. So, that is hard-hitting journalism right there. On July 1st, the Bessemer Trust asked the judge to allow them to withdraw from the conservatorship, saying they had been misled and had entered into the arrangement understanding the conservatorship was voluntary. The same day, Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bob Casey Jr. called on federal agencies to increase oversight of our conservatorship systems, and Spears' manager of 25 years, Larry Rudolph, resigned on July 6th due to her intention to officially retire. That same day, it was reported that Ingram planned to file the documents to the court asking to be dismissed. So July 14th, Judge Penny approved the resignations of the Bessemer Trust and Ingham. So it seems like everyone's just trying to get out of this. They're like, ooh, we look bad. Let's go. Let's get out of here. The court also approved Britney's request to hire an attorney, Matthew Rosengart, to represent her. Rosengart informed the court that he would work to terminate the conservatorship, and later that day, Spears publicly endorsed the Free Britney movement for the first time, using the hashtag on an Instagram post, mentioned feeling blessed after earning real representation. So it's crazy that this whole time she did not have a lawyer. Like, just her dad had the lawyer, not her. God. Then on July 26, Rosengart filed a petition seeking to remove Jamie as the conservator of Spears' estates and to replace him with Jason Rubin, who is a certified public accountant. Like, that's who should be a conservator, is like an accountant. That's a fiduciary. On August 12th, Jamie agreed to step down as the conservator at some future date, with his lawyer stating he wanted an orderly transition to the new conservator. And then on September 7th, Jamie filed a petition to end the conservatorship. 5 days later, Spears announced on Instagram that she was engaged to her longtime boyfriend, Sam. And then on September 29th, Penny suspended Jamie as the conservator, with accountant John Zabel replacing him on a temporary basis. And then on November 12th, the judge terminated the conservatorship. So it went through like lots of legal messiness, but the conservatorship was terminated. So let's talk about the money of it. This is how much Jamie Spears was paying himself per year. Literally, look, like 2011, $1.8 million. Absolutely insane. He profited in an amount of $6.3 million, and Jamie approved the expenditure of more than $30 million in fees to be paid to dozens of firms between 2008 and 2020. Jamie also paid his personal living expenses with these funds. He paid over $11,000 to AT&T. This is the part that's interesting to me. He paid $9,000 to Advanced Multimedia Partners for lot improvements and maintenance to a warehouse that he bought. Jamie Lynn's husband owns Advanced Multimedia Partners. It's not adding up for me. Y'all are terrible people. You will have to answer to God for your crimes. Watson's company was also paid $178,000 for maintenance on another property owned by Britney, and the docs state that Jamie spent more than $1.5 million for renovation and upkeep of the property, more than twice what it was worth between 2009 and 2018. The docs state that Jamie was asked by the court to explain extraordinarily high expenses for that property, and he evaded the question. This is just glorified money laundering. Jamie Lynn is also married to a Jamie? Yeah, no, it's literally insane. Jamie Lynn is married to Jamie Watson. Jamie Lynn's father is Jamie Spears. Why is everyone named Jamie? Literally, why is everyone named Jamie? Absolutely disgusting. So Jamie Lynn and Spears brothers Brian have all spent years on Britney's payroll. As friends who spoke with her at the time recalled, she was increasingly resentful of their efforts to influence her. Britney Spears' mom, Lynn Spears, has reportedly fallen on hard times following her fallout from her daughter. She is struggling to pay her bills, and apparently she took up a job substitute teaching. Good. Substitute teaching is hell, and I'm glad you have to go through that for what you did to her daughter. Disgusting. Disgusting. So, April 22, she announced her pregnancy, which ended in a miscarriage. But then she ended up marrying her husband on June 9th at their LA home. No, they're not married anymore. It was a quick moment. So, because again, like, someone that meets you when you're in a conservatorship, that's just going to be, like, not a great power dynamic. You know what I mean? If she was my sub, I would bully her. I hope those kids are ripping her apart. I hope they know who she is, and they're giving her a hard time every day. So none of Britney's family was invited to the wedding, and her 2 sons did not attend. I think she does have like a difficult relationship with them, which is understandable. If your mom is like being abused for years and years, she's probably not going to be like a super present mother. But her first husband, Jason Alexander, from the Vegas wedding, attempted to crash the wedding by breaking into her home, and he was armed with a knife, but he was arrested, and Spears has a restraining order against him now. So that's a lot. And then she released Hold Me Closer with Elton John August 26th, which was a remake of Tiny Dancer. So that's cool, which also became her 14th top 10 single. And in her personal life and social media has been the subject of renewed media interest. So there was the thing with the knives where she was like dancing with knives in her video, and she was literally fine. She was just chilling. Oh yeah, so they did a welfare check on her, and the knives were not real. But we see how she dances in her music videos. She's doing the same thing on Instagram. And her husband separated after 14 months of marriage during this time. This is also February 2022 when she did her book deal, which we read a lot of pieces from. So this is absolute art. I think this is literally hilarious. When she announced her engagement, Octavia Spencer said make him sign a prenup, which is literally just so funny. And they did separate. I'm really not going to get into her marriages because, like I said, I don't really care. She has a lot more interesting stuff going on than the men in her life, and I think most of the men in her life have wanted to exploit her. And I just want to say, for anyone making fun of her music videos, she is a 41-year-old white mom from Mississippi/Louisiana. Like, yeah, she's being weird on Instagram. What about it? I do not care. Like, I don't care if she's being weird on Instagram. I literally do not care at all. And he knew it. He knew it all along, and we ignored him.
25-year-old woman leave behind 2 children and die? Have we learned nothing from Anna Nicole Smith? I know it's hard to see Britney Spears as a human being, but trust me, she is. She's a person. She's like you or I. And I don't know about you, but I know that
Oh, Chris is a trans woman. I did not know that. Because in another interview, they were referring to her as Chris. Apologies. She knew. She knew.
I don't care. All I care about is Britney's well-being.
Let me hide
Britney,
this.
all I want is for you to get well.
She knew. Let me remove the incorrect pronouns.
And what really bothers me is to think of those people out there who don't see her as a person. And if anything ever happened to Britney Spears, the world can kiss my ass goodbye. Because if anything ever happens to her, I'm jumping off the nearest fucking building.
Mood.
I don't care what anyone says. I love Britney. And if anything ever happens to her, if she ever commits suicide because of a fucking idiot because of a fucking idiot blogger.
My Roman Empire is the insane way this video was taken out of context and mocked for years.
Get well, Britney.
Yeah, this was in like 2007.
The world needs to know that Britney still has her fans.
This vid went a bit off the rails, but the empathy is there. For reals.
Britney needs to know that
this is how I feel about all my friends.
I love you, Britney. Just know that, okay? Just know that.
And how fucking dare anyone out there make fun of Britney after all she's been through?
And at this point, she had so much more to go.
She went through a divorce. She had 2 fucking kids. Her husband turned out to be a user, a cheater, and now she's going through a custody battle. All you people care about is readers and making money off of her. She's a human!
The way she's literally right.
What you don't realize is that Britney's making...
The way this kind of thing is totally normalized on TikTok and we don't even blink anymore.
She hasn't performed on stage in years. Her song is called Give Me More for a reason, because all you people want is more, 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 more. Leave her alone.
For reals. Like, this is the gospel
You're lucky
truth.
she even performed for you bastards.
We are lucky.
Leave Britney alone.
Real.
Please.
So real. Literally so real. So this is the interview where they were using the wrong gender. So sorry about that. So this is a look back at this moment. So this video is from right after the conservatorship ended.
Chris Crocker's plea. That was in 2007. He said, leave Britney alone. Chris went viral. People turned that video into memes, and it set off a series of conversations, some good, some bad. And Chris joins us now from Bristol, Tennessee. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. 2007, I just moved to New York, and I remember seeing that video everywhere. Do you feel vindicated now that with fresh eyes, this new New York Times documentary is saying what you said then, which was leave Britney Spears alone?
I don't think it was ever really about me or,
She knows.
You know, it's not that I feel...
Oh, I've been seeing a lot of this lady on the Sister Wives Tell All. Stop, that is
seems
her.
to be going to a place where people are wondering why they didn't listen to me in that video.
Here, let me run it back. I want you to hear that, sorry. This is like when I distract my class from their work.
I don't think it was ever really about me. You know, it's not that I feel vindicated or anything. I'm just happy that the conversation seems to be going to a place where people are wondering why they didn't listen to me in that video. You know, it's more always been to me just about if you see someone going through a hard time, you know, be empathetic to that.
You pointed out her mental health. You pointed out the possibility of being a new mom. All of these things, again, that we're talking about and we should have been talking about then. Are you part of the Free Britney movement? Do you believe that she is being held in an unreasonable way?
You know, I made that video, I think, right before the conservatorship happened. So I wouldn't say I'm a part of the Free Britney movement, but I definitely support them in terms of, you know, I believe Britney should be free as an adult to be an adult.
So, Kara Cunningham, we should have listened to you, girl. We should have listened to you, Queen. You knew. So I just want to say thank you, Britney, for all you've done for us. We love you. I hope the rest of your days are literally nothing but love and light and happiness, and that nothing bad ever happens to you again, because you have truly been motherfucking through it. These are not even all the sources. There were more, but I got lazy and stopped writing them. Next week, we will be talking about Chrisley Knows Best. If you do not know, this is a man that everyone thinks is gay, but he's apparently not. And he has had a TV show following his family and just their general rich person woes. And then it came out that he was committing fraud. And now he's in prison. So that's what we'll be doing next week. Get excited. Because it's Thanksgiving break and I have the whole week off. So I have more time because I'm going to have to go through legal documents. We love, we love. So let's go ahead and play the game. And then I need to go to bed because I'm exhausted. It's my bedtime. So we're going to do Carnival. And while you all are joining, let me put the link in the chat. We're going to listen to Circus. All right, T. Do we want to watch the video? Let's continue to listen to Britney music while we play the game. Guys are next. Mickey Mouse Club, not Clubhouse. We all suck today. It's okay. A parking lot. That's funny. Alrighty. Nice job, Lori in first place, then Winking, Womanizer, / Delicious, Haley, Miley, Circus, Sammy B, A Toxic Parking Lot, Maddie, Whitney, Britney in a jean dress, It's Britney Bitch, Free at Last, and Kelsey Speak Meow. Leave Britney alone. Nice job, nice job. Thank you all for coming. This is always the highlight of my week, even though I was sick and I literally sound like death. But thank you for being here. I hope that you liked that we talked more about her like iconic moments rather than her like struggling moments. I did not want to make this a spectacle of a woman struggling because God forbid I would hate for someone to do that to me. So I hope that you liked to see some of her slay moments. How are you going to be the villain when you have ramen noodle hair? Me and my crew out for margs recreating Gimme More. So happy we focused on her good moments. Brit slayed. What a slay. I only accept apologies in cash. Like, the snake is a moment. I'm glad you all liked this stream. So, I'm going to go drink some more tea and then go to bed. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. And I will see you here 7 p.m. for Todd Chrisley. Love you. Bye.